On the road, we'll stay safe and sound. Yeah.
From the beautiful campus of Alcorn State University, we have the Landon Bussie program here on the Brave Sports Network, 91.7 WPRL and WPRL.org. We're on Facebook Live, WPRL's Facebook page, and we're on YouTube, Brave Sports Network. The season premiere of the Landon Bussie program coming your way. Braves coming off a tough loss to Jackson State, 72-69. Braves will take on Alabama State and Alabama A&M on Saturday and Monday. Just want to remind everyone there's been a schedule change for the Lady Braves game tomorrow. Originally scheduled for 6 o'clock. Tomorrow's game with Alabama State will be at 2 o'clock on Thursday due to potential weather rolling our way. And it's impacted some games in the conference already, especially up at Pine Bluff, where they're expecting a foot of snow up that way. So we'll talk all about that. We'll talk about Braves basketball with head coach Landon Bussie. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. You can text a question, 601-301-2611, and on X, Tall Man Radio. We'll take a break here. Landon Bussie, Charles Edmond, our producer Cedric Tillman, Jamario Brooks will get the program started in 1 minute here on the Brave Sports Network.
Here at Alcorn, we understand that we share some commonalities with one another. So in some ways, we're already family.
Seeing everybody, seeing more people that looked like me and had the same mannerisms as me, it was fantastic.
The variety of people here really made me feel at home.
When I stepped on campus, it felt like I was supposed to be here.
When they say the grass is greener here, they really mean it.
And we welcome you back to the Landon Bussie program, the season premiere right here on the Brave Sports Network. The Landon Bussie program, as well as the Nate Kilbert program, will be back-to-back starting next Tuesday. Nate Kilbert from 5 to 5:30, and Landon Bussie every Tuesday from 5:30 until 6 here on the Brave Sports Network. Glad you can join us, however way you might be checking us out, whether on Facebook Live, on YouTube, or on 91.7 WPRL and WPRL.org. Braves took on the travel partners Jackson State. Tough loss, 72-69. Off, obviously, this past Monday, and we'll get ready for the Alabama teams as they roll in on Saturday and Monday. Of course, Lady Braves basketball tomorrow. Again, I said it at the top. Schedule change, Lady Braves, Alabama State, originally scheduled for 6 o'clock due to potential weather. 2 o'clock tip-off tomorrow from the Whitney Arena. We'll have the pregame at 1:45. We'll talk with Destiny Brown at halftime. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, Braves head basketball coach Landon Bussie said he coming off a pretty good practice today. They just got off the practice court getting ready for this upcoming week. Coach Bussie, we appreciate it, sir.
Absolutely. Appreciate you for having me.
Man, I tell you what, Jackson State, man, it was a great environment. You know, some people were concerned about the crowd and the turnout. School's not back in session, but it was a wonderful turnout. It was promoted well for the last several weeks, actually. HBCU Go met with university officials as well as Jackson State officials. Good turnout, good scene, good environment, good basketball game, but not the way that we expected. Tough loss. We were down double digits, had a lead with 6 and change left. Just talk about that Jackson State game. A game that was back and forth, and I thought we did a good job in the last minute in extending the game, fouling, making them make free throws. We did what we had to do to keep ourselves in it, just couldn't pull it out.
Yeah, I was completely proud about how my team competed. We could have laid down and gave up, but we found a way to get ourselves back in the game and actually take the lead. We took the lead twice, went up 4 and went up 3 at some point. And it's tough to do. It's tough to do when you put yourself down, behind 16 points in the first half or 14 points against a very good basketball team and a well-coached team. So, but we got some tough kids that have been through adversity and challenges, and they did a great job of putting ourselves back in a position to try to win the basketball game.
Well, obviously, they wouldn't have it or you wouldn't have it any other way considering how tough you are. And it was a tough loss, and obviously it was an emotional loss. I mean, after the ball game, one of the shortest pre-games we've had, it was just a couple of minutes. You were pretty emotional. You were in tears, and then there's the sideline shot of you. Just talk about the emotions going through that game. What was going through your mind emotionally? Because the last few days, that's all people have been asking me. How's Coach Bussie? How's Coach Bussie? Is he okay? Is something going on? But I get it. I've been around you. I've been around the program, and I know how you take these losses hard because you grind them hard. You put so much into each and every practice, shoot around, game, film, weights, regardless. Just talk about the range of emotions the last minute, and especially that tough loss and when the zeros hit the clock.
For me, it's a situation where as though I put a lot of pressure on myself. I hold myself to a higher standard and have high expectations for myself, more so than anything. But Mr. Charles, you will never, ever, ever come past a coach that want to win more than me. I want to win. I want to see my kids have success. I want to see this program at the top, and I invest every bone in my body to having success with this program. And I tell my kids y'all, y'all. It doesn't matter what I go through in my personal life. It doesn't matter if I'm sick. It doesn't matter if I'm not feeling well. It doesn't matter if I haven't ate. I have to show up and be the most energized guy in practice every single day, no matter what I'm going through off the court. And some of you guys, you take days off and nothing is wrong. You just take the day off. How I can't do that. I can't do that. I don't overwhelm my guys, and I shouldn't with anything that I'm dealing with. However, no matter what's going on, I show up and I bust my ass every single day in practice, and shoot around, and film, and games, and weights, in the training room. So I invest my all. And I felt as though that my staff and I let this game slip away. And we take ownership and accountability of it. I think that these young men put us in a position for us to close out the game. And we didn't do that. We didn't do that. And so, as you know, Mr. Charles, being around me, when we aren't in a good place, it's uncomfortable for everybody. I'm make it uncomfortable for me. I make it uncomfortable for my coaches, and I make it uncomfortable for my players and everybody around my program. I don't want nobody around my program to get comfortable with losing. We're not going to submit to losing. We're not going to submit to having a losing culture and program. You're the sore losers. If you're a sore loser, those are your best winners. I don't lose well. So the only thing after that is to get back to the drawing board, roll your sleeves up, and find a way to win. And I think that Saturday we're about to turn this corner. So 3 things I changed up in practice, but we're not going to make excuses. What we don't have with this and that. We know the situation. And I wasn't happy with myself, and I wasn't a damn sure wasn't happy with my staff. And we're going to find a way to put this program in a better situation.
Yeah, I mean, again, being around you, you don't take any loss lightly, for sure. That's the hardest I've seen you take a loss like that. And for me personally, and just again being around you, you had a couple of weeks to get ready. Didn't play. Your last game was December 22nd against UAB. Conference game, home game, rivalry game, HBCU go. A lot of talk on social media about the game, and the fact that, and you were happy. I guess now mentioning the fact that you were pleased, but we got off to a slow start, but we were able to rally and be tough enough to stick around and then get the lead. So that's where I thought maybe you were, even though you're not happy with losing, the effort and energy. And I think it just all culminated in those few moments where we had some opportunities in a big game like that.
Absolutely. I mean, we had the opportunity to put them away. We had the opportunity to put them away. There's no doubt in my mind. I think we have the best team in the SWAC. We have not shown it yet, but as you know, I mean, we're going to find a way to turn this thing around. there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to find a way to turn this thing around. We're not going to wait till we get down 1-3 and try to figure it out. We're going to find a way to turn this thing around. I will never submit to losing. I will never make excuses. And that's not what I built off. That's never what I've been about. I have a winning pedigree, and my coaches and we have to do a completely better job, and finding a way to close out that game and win the basketball. But it's just that freaking simple.
Landon Bussie on the Landon Bussie program, the season premiere. Some good stuff, obviously. The talk of the range of emotions there. And look, sports is a passionate thing. And for players, for coaches, you put so much into this stuff. I mean, I've been around you in every single facet of it. So these things are definitely not easy. And this one wasn't easy. We gave ourselves a chance. So let's talk about Jackson State, Coach. 72-69. The final score. We were down double figures early, and we've seen this script before, Coach Bussie. We were down 35-26 at the break. Jackson State just was hitting the three-point line definitely favored them. They had 8 threes in the game, but early on they were knocking the threes down. Was it just one of those situations?
I can't hear you, Mr. Charles.
Okay, yeah, Coach. Do you think Jackson State hit 8 threes in the game? They obviously they were hitting threes early. Was it just a fact of them they were in a rhythm from beyond the arc? You think we guarded the 3-point line well early in the first half?
Well, one thing I told my team in the locker room, we're down 9 points. But the positive thing about being down 9 points, we took their best shot. We took their best shot, and we knew that was the best that they was going to play with our intensity. They made 7 threes in the first half. They finished the game with 8 threes. They did a great job coming out and shooting the ball well. That's what they did. I mean, they had 1 3 in the second half. That was Jamie Mitchell hit a big time 3 right there in the corner. So we knew we took their best shot. We knew that we came out flat, and we knew they shot the ball well. And that's just take my hats off to Mo Williams. Putting his team in position to come out with some urgency and some intensity, and my team didn't. My team came out the complete opposite. So I wasn't concerned going into halftime because we knew we took their best shot, and we felt as though that we were going to make a run. Now we came out, made a few adjustments to try to close out a little earlier, not help as much. But when you spend so much energy and intensity getting yourself back in the game, giving yourself a little lead, you fight so hard, and as long as you get tired because you spend so much energy putting yourself back up there. And basketball is a game of runs. We had every opportunity to close that game out. If it was offensive rebounds that we gave up, bad turnovers, missed free throws, bad rotation on defensive end, things that we go over in practice. So, I'm not, you don't want to dwell on it too much. It's only one game. Of course, it's a game that you would love to have. Of course, it's a game that we're as though we're expected to win that game. And we'll find a way to turn this thing around. And we'll find a way to, be better. You
said it in the lead up to this game, the last 3 years, now 4 years, it's been a 1-possession game. I mean, it's just been nip and tuck the last 3 or 4 times that they've come here. Now, when we go to Jackson, it's been a runaway either way. But the last 4 times that we play Jackson at the Whitney Arena, it just comes down to 1 possession, 1 missed assignment, 1 missed free throw, 1 bucket that we didn't get, or 1 layup that we missed, or 1 rebound we didn't get. It's just come down to 1 possession.
Yeah, it just come down to 1 possession, and whichever way the ball bounced, inches. I think Jamie Mitchell hit a big time shot. Kevion Hunt made some big time free throws. We missed some big time free throws. So we try to find a way to clean up that. Try to find a way to clean up these turnovers. Try to find a way to clean up these bad rotations on the defensive end.
Two things that stood out for me, Coach, and you can explain one. Well, you can explain both of them. Um, you put your faith and trust in Gaines Wyatt, and we had, unfortunately for him, he had one unforced turnover down the stretch on the baseline in front of your basket. Got the basketball on the baseline and just lost it out of bounds. That's a possession that we did not get. You've talked about it at the beginning of the year with him. Do you see the maturation in his game, and do you see where he's ready to take the bull by the horns in that position?
I mean, he has to show it. I mean, when a coach gives you the opportunity to take over the game at that point, it's only two things that you could do. You could produce, or you can have a moment to where as though you could have done something better. And so those are the only two options. And if you want to continue to earn that trust, if you want to continue to be in that moment, you got to find a way to close the game out.
Landon Bussie here, just talking about the Jackson State game. Coach, I thought down the stretch we did a good job in late game situations and fouling and putting them on the free throw line where they had to make free throws. I'm looking at the box score. You look at Kevion Hunt, you talked about him. He was 11 for 11. The last free throw attempt he took, he missed it. That kind of opened the door for us. So there were some opportunities in late game situations there. Then, and I know you don't make excuses, as you mentioned, there was one particular call that was sort of frustrating to me. And I don't know if you go back and look at the film, it was a late call from the official on the opposite end of the floors, right? The foul occurred in front of our bench, but the official on the opposite end made that call. Were you able to get some clarity on that? Because it was confusing to a lot of folks.
Yeah, I mean, it was confusing to me too, but you're at home, you expect to, hopefully when it's a 50-50 whistle, it goes your way. But that's why I tell my players all the time. We don't want let the officials decide to make to dictate the game. So it was very frustrating. I watched the play over and over and over. It was very, very, very disturbing even to watch. But hey, we should never been in that situation. We got to do a better job of not putting ourselves in that situation. And we don't want the officials to determine the game.
What was the explanation you were given about that?
I can't even. Whatever it was, I didn't at that time. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear it. Only thing I was just like, I cannot believe that this just happened. I was very, very, very shocked that call was made. But I don't know what the explanation was. That one play right there did not determine the game. That one play, referees. I mean, I trust that. I trusted that referee is going to make the right call. So it's something that he must have seen that we fouled him. So we got to live with it and do a better job of not putting ourselves in that situation.
So for the game, Coach, I know during non-conference, you juggled and tried different lineups because knowing you base your lineups, and you've talked about this, the playing time, the starting lineup is determined by the players. How they come out and shoot around, how they come out and practice. Shoot around is the practice the day of the game, call it shoot around, practice, film. They determine who starts. You don't necessarily determine that. So talk about what impressed you with the starting lineup going into this game with Marcus Tankersley. We'll talk about him. He had 25. He had Benet Gaines Wyatt, Amari Hamilton, and Josh Mitchell. Talk about that starting five and what they impressed you with to get the start for this particular game, especially since we hadn't played since December 22nd.
I mean, well, that's that pretty much been the starting five the last few games. However, we're going to change some things up this next game. We're going to continue to search and try to find answers to guys who want to get out here and play hard the first 5 minutes of the game. You know, you can't keep on doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. You know, can't keep on doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So we're going to make some adjustments to the starting lineup. We made a few adjustments in practice, and we're just making adjustments as far as roles and responsibilities with the coaches and the whole 9 yards. You know, we made some significant adjustments within these last 3 to 4 days.
So let's talk about Tankersley. You were telling me in pregame that's the Marcus Tankersley that we can expect, and you were waiting for a breakout game. Talk about for fans who are just kind of get caught up to speed with Braves basketball, didn't follow it all that closely in non-conference. Marcus Tankersley, talk about him. Breakout game, 25 points, 8 of 9 from the free throw line. And I thought he was playing with a bounce and a rhythm and a confidence that was pretty special.
Mark is one of the best character kids you probably could ever be around. He's one of the hardest workers you'll ever be around. He's a very, very, very skilled basketball player. I think that a lot of his struggle in non-conferences came from the type of pressure he puts on himself. He holds himself to a very, very high standard, and he wanted to do well. And I think that he was overthinking everything. But the Marcus that we've seen Saturday, that's the Marcus we have been seeing in practice throughout all season. And I expect that that's the Marcus you're going to see for the rest of the year. He spends a lot of time working on his game. More so than anything, he's a great kid. And he's also an unbelievable basketball player.
Well, you know who that sounds like, Coach. It sounds like somebody named Landon Bussie. You know, is he kind of a reflection of you in terms of his passion, his motor, his enthusiasm?
Well, see, Marcus is a very, very, very quiet kid, and I try to push him to come out his shell a little more. Try to push him to be a little more vocal. Try to push him to bring some more energy. But that's just who he is, his personality. However, his work ethic has met my expectations. His character has met my expectations. And his overall human being is unbelievable. And as a coach, you root for guys like that. You want to see those type of guys have success when they come in every single day. They let you coach them hard. They come in every single day and bust their butt in practice. They come every single day and don't make excuses. They just try to find a way to get the stuff done. So guys like that you want to see do well, and you root for guys like that.
When we were down double digits, Coach, we made a big run in that second half. Where did the light bulb or the switch go off with this team in making that run? I thought early in the second half, and it kind of reminded me of so many games that we've seen in conference in which you come out in the second half, you erase a deficit, you come out with that energy and that spark. Is that kind of where things flipped right out of the locker room to begin the second half?
I don't know when it flipped for them. I didn't know if them guys was going to lay down. I didn't know if them guys were going to come out with a pop to them. I don't know, but pretty similar to the Rice game. We were down. I think we were down 9 or 10 points with the Rice game. I don't know, but I do know that one thing: basketball is a game of runs. I know that you could be up 20, and you could be tie ball game. You could be down, whatever. I know that it's about a game of runs, and it's a tale of two halves. I told my team that, we beat them the last 30 minutes of the game. They beat us the first 10 minutes. You take out the first 10 minutes, we win by that game by 13 or 14 points. However, basketball is not a 30-minute game. It's a 40-minute complete basketball game. We need to find a way to play a good, complete 40 minutes. Not 38, not 36, 40 complete minutes. So I don't know when it clicked on for them as far as what we need to do, but I do know we came out in the second half on fire. We came out with some energy. We came out with some intensity. We came out like we were ready to play. And we was able to make a run. But there's no doubt in my mind, I don't think we got quitters. I think that these guys have been through some tough practices. and some brutal coaching. And I think that these guys have responded. And, I can look in some of them guys' eyes when I'm challenging them and I'm getting on them, which guys is going to respond and which guys are going to drop their shoulders. And I took a look in some of them guys' eyes, and I could tell that they were ready to play.
I know you're a spirited coach, and I watch you on the bench trying to keep the players engaged and spirited. Do you feel like the bench, we know the motor from the bench, the enthusiasm from the bench. How was that presence on Saturday? Do you feel like guys were trying to keep each other fired up as you look at some of the video, some of the highlights? Do you think the guys were engaged, enthusiasm, back and forth, especially in the final minutes of the game in which it was kind of hanging in the balance?
I mean, to be honest with you, that's what my coaches. I'm so invested and so attention to detail during the game. My coaches have to make sure them guys stay engaged on the bench, make sure them guys are ready to play, and also give me insight. Who's engaged. But I do think that we got some spark off the bench. And Davion Williams did a great job coming off the bench, ready to play. Davion did an unbelievable job coming off the bench, ready to play. I think Cameron Foreman, he's always ready to play. He came up with some big-time moments. Mike Padro, did a great job in the second half coming up with some big-time off rebounds coming off the bench. So it was some guys who came off the bench who made some made some key plays. But we got to find a way. I don't like being down 14-16. I'd rather somebody else be down 14-16 and they dig that stuff out of the hole.
And if you look at the non-conference games, South Alabama, Rice, Jackson State, there's been probably a couple of others, of course. We get off to slow starts and we find a way to climb out of it. And in years past, you've talked about these slow starts. With this team, just talk about trying to avoid the continued slow starts. There are games in the season in which you get off the slow starts and you find a way to win. We've had those games in the past. But the slow starts this year, we find a way to get back in it. We probably were 2 or 3 possessions away, 4 or 5, maybe winning the game the other night. But and I think you said it earlier, you're down 14. You get so much energy to get back in the game and grab the lead. And then that energy, it goes the other way because you spend so much trying to get back in it and grab the lead. And that's what happened. Put your finger on the slow starts that we've had. I know you come out and watch them in warm-ups. You used to do that. And just to see how they're coming out. Can you put your finger on the slow starts?
Yeah, well, this slow start Saturdays because we've been having slow starts in practice. We have been starting really, really slow in practice for them guys to get going, for them guys to start to break some intensity. They really push me to make me challenge them to pick it up. And then once I light a fire under them, then they want to pick it up. Same thing that happened Saturday. We come out slow. I got to light a fire on them at halftime. Then they pick it up. It shouldn't be like that. Shouldn't be like that. These guys got to grow up. They got to be mature. They got to understand what's at stake. But it's my job to figure out guys who want to bring intensity, want to bring energy. And I think that we're on a good pace to try to figure that part out.
Yeah, you talk about the starting line. One guy, Coach Benet, I just watched his work inside. He had 10 points and 6 rebounds. And we won the rebound battle, Coach, 33-30. You always look at that. Offensive rebounds, 11-10. Talk about the board battle in the Jackson State game.
Yeah, we gave away too many offensive rebounds, and we didn't get enough offensive rebounds. I'm disappointed in that aspect tremendously. We didn't do a great job of boxing out. We didn't do a great job pursuing the ball, and we didn't do a great job attacking the offensive glass. We should have been, plus 8 to 10 with the rebounding battle. Significantly. We spent a lot of time in practice rebounding. We spent a lot of time on practice boxing out, and we did an awful job Saturday. Absolutely awful job.
Talk about how we were able to protect the basketball, Coach, the turnovers. Talk a little bit about that. They had 9 and we had 13. Talk about that.
Yeah, that's another category that three main categories that we did a terrible job in was turnovers, the rebounding battle, and free throws. They won the rebound, they won the free throw battle, and they won the turnover battle. We turned the ball over in some critical moments. Critical moments. We had at least 4 to 5 offensive fouls on the ball screen, so we're trying to clean that up. We're trying to figure out a way for these guys to close the game out, but it's unbelievable. A lot of things that we spent a lot of time on practice that we wasn't able to execute late.
Talk about the mood after the game, Coach, in the locker room.
It was just a situation where as though guys gotta, we got to make some adjustments. We got to look ourselves in the mirror. I need everybody to look themselves in the mirror to see what you can do better to put this team in a better situation and be successful. And if you don't think that you need to do that, then you might need to step away from the team. But my job is to put these guys in a better situation to be successful. And I think that with the practice that we had today, hopefully we have 2 good more practices Thursday and Friday, and we got to find a way to protect home court.
Yeah, we have 2 more home games left. We open up with 3 in a row at home, and then the schedule obviously flips. You talked about Mike Pajot, Coach. He was dealing with a back injury as you look at the final seconds there as we cut it to 2 in the final seconds, trying to miss a free throw, trying to gain an extra possession. Jackson State, when you look at their free throws, 18 of 23, so they were +4 on attempts there, and you see the final seconds of the game. I thought Pajot gave us what he could give us. He didn't practice on Saturday and just dealing with that, the back injury, trying to monitor his minutes. But I thought he gave maximum effort despite not being 100%.
Yeah, I think he came out slow in the first half. I think he tried to pick it up second half. He's the guy that they've been in the program longer than anybody. And he's a guy that knows what it takes to be successful. Now he has to making sure that he's locked in every single day. I mean, he knows what it takes. He's part of both championship programs. He's the guy that we depend on. He's the guy that got to step up to the line and deliver.
And then Keontae Cornelius, the one big storyline, Keontae Cornelius, Jackson State transfer, playing against his former team. I thought maybe he would really get off. 12 minutes and just 2 points. Was it Jackson State or just a tough night shooting for Keontae Cornelius?
I think that Keontae just put a lot of pressure on himself. I think he was a little anxious, and I think that he just wasn't himself. But I think that he'll be better. I think he'll be a lot better moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the big storylines. I thought he was going to really be – I thought if he knocked down – and he had some good looks, Coach. He had some good looks at it, just couldn't get it to fall. If he got a couple to go down, I thought that would put a lot of pep in the team step if he just could have knocked down a couple of shots.
I mean, I mean, that would have been great. Of course, it's great that, get some more baskets, but that we don't want, I mean, it was – I think that it was much bigger than that. What killed us more than anything was the late turnovers, the missed free throws, and the missed box outs.
Coach, I'm looking at you here, and it's just I know you're thinking about the upcoming these 2 games at home, but just the intensity. Just looking at you right now on the screen, just the intensity. You're just so locked into it, and you want everyone around you to be locked into it as well, and that's got to be the key to winning a championship. We've hoisted a couple of banners. We've been to 2 NITs, and just we haven't won that tournament wherever it may be, whether it's Atlanta or Birmingham. These are the steps that you have to take to get to the level that you want to be at.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very confident in this team. I'm very confident in the success we'll have in conference play. But it's some changes and some things that have to go into place. I'm motivated, but more so than anything, I'm completely happy how a lot of these guys have not shut down. They haven't gave up. No matter the adversity, no matter the challenges, no matter, right now, it can't get no worse than this. It just can't. I mean, we haven't won a basketball game all year. No scrimmage, no exhibition, no non-conference, conference. We probably one of the team um, in college basketball, that the only team in college basketball that probably have not won a game yet this year.
Yeah, there
It
was. I
doesn't get
did
any
see.
worse.
Yeah, I did see. I think on X there were like 4 teams that had not won a game coming into the weekend, and Jackson State and Alcorn were 2 of those teams, and obviously Jackson State with the victory. But at this point, Coach, you've been saying we got a long way to go. Do you feel like, even though in a loss we got 17 more conference games left, got 2 at home coming up, were there's some of the steps forward that we might have took coming out of game 1 in conference? Do you see that? And if so, what are the steps forward?
I mean, competing. We competed. We didn't give up. Effort. Then we made some good effort plays. I mean, accepting tough coaching. Being in an environment to where as though the tennis basketball game, and we could have laid down. So that's more than anything. When you look back at when you have a basketball program or any program, you can throw out the X and O's. You want to find guys who can compete. You want to find guys who give effort. You want to find guys who play with some passion and intensity, and it's not going to let guys just run over them. Forget all the X's and O's. Forget all the skill. You want to find tough guys who are willing to compete. And I think we have those guys.
We're going to take a break right here. We'll be right back here on the Landon Bussie program, 601-877-6595. You can send us a text on X, Tall Man Radio, and you can text the question, 601-301-2611. We'll take a break right here. The Landon Bussie program will be 30 minutes, as well as the Nate Kilbert program, starting next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. It'll be the Nate Kilbert show, and then right after that, the Landon Bussie program from 5:30 to 6. One programming note, Lady Braves basketball tomorrow against Alabama State at the Whitney Arena has been rescheduled for 2 p.m., 2 o'clock tomorrow. We'll be on the air at 1:45 with the pregame show. And of course, when we have the double headers, they will begin at 2 o'clock. The single games, the ladies' games on Thursdays at home and the men's games on Mondays at home will be at 6 o'clock. So the men will play after the women's game on Saturday around 4-ish or so, and then the single game at 6 o'clock on Mondays. We'll take a break right here. We'll be right back as the Landon Bussie continues after this timeout.
The agriculture department is going to get you out there and help you be successful in your future endeavors.
Where the students have access to world-class facilities right here.
One thing I like about Alcorn is the small classrooms where you as a professor get the chance to interact or know all your students.
My professors are teaching me along the way. I will be prepared for the job.
Go the extra step. They go above and beyond what they don't have to do just to make sure that their students are successful.
Can I get the now bar, please?
$1.
Have a good one.
Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure. $1.
Appreciate you.
You got it.
Back to the Landon Bussie program here on the Braves Sports Network. Charles Edmond, Braves head basketball coach Landon Bussie. Coach, you were impressed with the team's practice today, getting ready for the upcoming homestand against Alabama State and Alabama A&M. I know you take every practice seriously, and as you talked about, the players determine who starts, who plays based on every single day in practice. So you were happy with today's practice as we get ready for Saturday.
Yeah, I think today's practice was absolutely phenomenal. I think that some of them guys, really thought that, teams will, in conference probably going to lay down to them and, probably think, oh, well, once all going to get the conference, they're going to do what they always do, finish at the top. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. You got to come every single day and bust your butt. You got to come every single day with a chip on your shoulder and put your hard hat on and get ready to work. But I think that they thought that team was going to lay down due to, your past, team had success. Last 3 years, we have finished at least in top two. And I don't expect anything else. I don't expect anything else for that to change this year. I think it's going to pretty much be the same.
How hard is that to break? Because these players know the success that we've had. They look up in the rafters and they see the regular season banners in conference. They see the NIT appearances. And, when you're on TV, they talk about the success that you've had and this program has had. But trying to flush that down the drain from one year to the next, from one team to the next, that for some teams it's easier, for some teams it's hard. How do you try to continue to hit home that, hey, last year is last year, the past is the past, this is a totally new team? The transfer portal allows you to restock each and every year. So how hard is it to break that with these different teams?
Losing will want to break that mindset, and the bench will break that mindset. Nobody else can break it but the bench and losing. Guys cannot just punch the clock. I think a lot of times guys, we got players who want to come in and punch the clock and work and just try to get by. And you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. There's no way you could get around this work. There's no way you could get around it. There's no way to just get around it. You got to get to it. You can't just get through it. So, I think that, met with a lot of them guys one-on-one, especially some of your returning guys. You met with them and let them know that they're going to have to make some changes, or, at some point you got to start to give other guys opportunities before it goes too far. But these guys have to understand maturity. They have to understand accountability. And they have to understand what it looks like to sacrifice.
Sounds like, Coach, the sense of urgency, even though we got 17 more conference games left, the sense of urgency is right now. And with you, it's always, I know you the sense of urgency is always been there. I've been in that arena in July when you've been working out 6 guys in the summertime and you got a full sweat going and you were in mid-season mode in July with 6 guys on campus. The sense of urgency, obviously, it has got to be there, especially with these 2 home games coming up before we hit the road.
Yeah, the sense of urgency got to be there. It's time. It's time. It's time for us to turn the corner. It's time for us to get some reward from all the hard work that we put in. These guys deserve it. These guys need to see it. And I think that once we see it, I think that we'll continue to grow.
601-301-2611. Coach, we have a text that's come in. Hey, Coach Bussie, just want to let you know, keep fighting through adversity and we will prevail. And then a question, we are a team low in assists. What are we doing to address the ball movement, or is that how you structure your team offensively?
No, that I mean, I think we had 3 to 4 assists. It's terrible. That's for me to, for one, guys got to make open shots. That's the first thing. Our assists are low because we're not making shots. Shots that Division I college basketball would make. Another thing that we have selfish guys. We have to do a better job of sacrificing some shots that we take and reverse the ball a little bit more. And another thing we got to do a better job of executing offense. So those are 3 things that we trying to do a better job of to enhance our assists total is, make open shots. Let's not be so selfish, and let's do a better job of executing.
We appreciate that question. 601-301-2611 if you want to text a question. Coach, the one thing that has been consistent with you are defensive minded first. Every year you kind of give us a number in terms of the expectation of the most that we can give up and still be successful? You feel like if your team's locked in defensively one year, 60 points and below, 65 and below, what is it with this team in terms of defensively? Because it's defense first with you. What is it with this team, the Mendoza line, the mark in terms of what we can attain or how much we can give up defensively with this bunch? We still trying to figure that out, or do you have a number in your mind? We gave up 72 against Jackson State. I know it's way too many. I mean, you want to keep it in the 60s and 50s, but what is it with this group?
Yeah, we need to keep it under 65. I think if we could, do 65 and lower, I think that would be really, really good, and I'll be impressed with that. I think that, we were able to increase that from 60 to 65. I think we got, guys who could score the ball at a decent rate. But I think if we could keep it at 65 and lower, I think we put ourselves in a great position to be successful.
Where are you with this team defensively? On schedule? Do you think we can? You think we're kind of, your team's getting the message defensively and guarding people and getting on the floor of the loose balls and just letting it all hang out on that side? Are you close to being at that point with this team defensively?
Man, you just don't know because I think we're so inconsistent defensively. Some days we're flying around, we're hitting every rotation, we're boxing guys out. We limited the team to one shot. We're contesting every shot without fouling. And some days we're just slow. We act like we don't know the rotation. We let guys push us in our back, and we have no urgency on the defensive end. So do I think that these guys have caught on to what we're supposed to do? Absolutely. I don't think that they caught on to the level of expectation of doing it every single day where it needs to be, and not taking those steps back. So you just don't know. We have inconsistent, very, very inconsistent defensive performances each and every day.
What about offensively? Are you comfortable? Well, we scored 69. You obviously, Tankersley with 25, Benet with 10, Gaines Wyatt with 9. Are you pleased with your offensive stuff, the stuff that you're running, and getting 69 points? Pretty good to me, but are you satisfied with that end of it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, but it should have been more. Missed a lot of layups, free throws, layups, turnovers. Gives you a better opportunity to score more, and it also increase your assist total. But we just missed layups here and there. We just missed free throws, and we don't get shot attempts up when we need to. So I mean, hey, what can we do besides trying to move on, get prepared for Alabama A&M? And hopefully we can clean up some of them areas.
The one thing, and to put a capper on the game Saturday, they're just little small things that could tell you, what, this might be our day. Jackson State missed a dunk, and they missed a layup in which we got back and contested. And so that energy piece that you were talking about, I said, okay, maybe we have turned the corner and we can make that push to maybe win this game. Those are just small little snippets to me that I thought that were helpful. Obviously, it didn't help ourselves with the unforced turnover late and then the call that didn't go our way. But I thought those little two things for me, they missed a dunk and then they had a layup and we got back defensively to contest it. They missed it. And I thought that's kind of you. You get back, play hard, give ourselves another shot at it. And I thought those two things, to me, could have got over the hump with that.
Well, if we're banking on guys that miss wide open dunks for us to win a basketball game, we're headed down the wrong direction. We're headed down the wrong direction. If we're banking on that to win us a basketball game, that wide open dunk that Jamie Mitchell missed, if we banking on that, we're headed down the wrong direction. We need to bank on limited teams to one shot. We need to bank on not turning the ball up. We need to bank on making layups and free throws and executing and being one of the tougher teams. That's what we want to focus on. We can't, dictate, what them guys do as far as making miss wide open layups. And we don't want to lean on that neither.
When you talked about shots, the last couple of times we played Jackson State was Colty Young, who hit a 3 in the left corner, and then they hit a 3 in the right corner in the final seconds. It's just, I'm like, is this movie replaying itself again? So talk about that shot, by the way. They hit a big three. We got back at it, and they hit a big three in the final moments there. Talk about what didn't happen defensively there.
So we wanted to really load up on Deshaun Ruffin. We wanted somebody else to beat us. So we wanted to load up on their best player, Deshaun Ruffin, McDonald's All-American, transfer from Ole Miss. We really wanted to load up on him and see if he could make the right play. And he did an unbelievable job of finding Jamie Mitchell in the corner, and Jamie Mitchell did an unbelievable job stepping up, knocking down a big-time shot. And that's he's a big-time player, made big-time plays in big-time games, and they made big-time plays in the big-time game. So, you take your hats off to them. Take your hats off to them. Well-coached team. Came out ready to play. We'll get opportunity to see them again.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Some teams you play once, some teams you play twice. Jackson State's our travel partner. We will see them again at the Williams Activity Center. All right, we'll put the Jackson State game in the rearview mirror. We'll take a break right here. You can text a question. We appreciate the text that's come in, 601-301-2611. I'm on X, Tallman Radio. You can text or tweet a question anytime during the week, and we'll use them during the show. Don't forget, Lady Braves basketball time change tomorrow. Lady Braves in Alabama State at the Whitney Arena at 2 o'clock tomorrow from 6 o'clock. Just trying to beat some of this weather that's expected over the next 48 hours. We'll take a break. We'll look at the Alabama teams, Alabama State, Alabama A&M. We'll be right back after this. Time out.
I feel like the education department here at Alcorn has prepared me for the future in the classroom.
We're a family environment who can guide you and will get you to where you want to be at.
It's really easy to cultivate that one-on-one relationship with your professor or your advisor.
Our students will be able to go out and impact the lives of the people that they work with.
I was really glad I made the decision to come here.
What I would tell aspiring Alcornites, when you get here, you're not going to want to leave.
You don't fight fair, so we'll just fight harder.
We didn't come here to play around.
You're going down.
Honestly, I hate you.
I'm stronger than you.
I'm more determined than you.
We're going to beat you, cancer.
Because the American Cancer Society
is on our team.
And together, we're unstoppable.
My name is John Calipari.
I'm Roy Williams.
I'm Jim Boeheim.
I'm Tubby Smith.
And I'm a coach versus cancer.
All right, welcome back to the Landon Bussie program. Coach, one of the things that's been talked about on social media in the early part of the season, the non-conference schedule, and of course you had the one game against Talladega, but all your non-conference games on the road. Coach, just talk about that non-conference schedule and how you try to set it up and prepare yourself for the grind of the conference. You play games on coast to coast, from Maryland all the way to the West Coast, and points in between, near and far. Talk about how you put your schedule together and to kind of set you up for potentially a successful conference run.
Yeah, we just try to put ourselves in a situation to where as though we could play some really good, tough basketball team, but also play some games to where as though it's just tough road environments. Like Wichita State is a very, very tough road environment. Utah State is a tough road environment. And we just try to, travel the world, give these guys opportunity to play on the national stage. We played against Maryland. We played against TCU, Oklahoma, who we played them was a top 15 team in the nation. Utah, Tulane, South Alabama, Rice. So we had opportunities just to travel the world a little bit, get to know these guys a little better, let these guys gel with each other, and play on the national stage.
All right, we appreciate that question. That's been talked about on social media, Coach. Just trying to, I think some fans around the league want to see more home games in November and December, but we understand why that's not the case. Some programs are mandated that you go out and bring in a certain amount of money via guarantee games. So it's just one of those things. I know you love the road, and we had the one game against Talladega. Do you see, as you look forward, maybe a couple more home games in the future as you craft your schedules going forward?
You asked me about next year?
I mean, just people just talk about those things, Coach. I just put it out there. But yeah,
I'm trying to. I got one one school, one team that I got on my board, and that's Alabama A&M. I don't even know who we play after that.
Alabama State. We play after that. I mean, these are just some of the things that's out there on social media. So, people talk about that. It's always a conversation. All right, so let's talk about the Alabama teams. Alabama A&M. They won 88-79 over UAPB and Mississippi Valley 79-67. Of course, this was the team. We were the 2 seed last year, and they were the 7 seed, and we played A&M last year in the tournament. Talk about this team, Coach. AC Bryant, you got McGriff, you got Say, you got Downey, and you got Moody. Talk a little bit about this bunch.
Yeah, it's a situation to where as though they have a lot of returners. Downey is the guy who can shoot the ball really well. Moody is a preseason all conference guy. McGriff is a guy who can control the tempo of the game. So they have a very, very good basketball team and a well-coached team. They're very athletic. They're very big. They're going to do a great job of applying pressure. They're going to do a great job of switching screens. And it's going to be a great challenge for us. This is the same team that put us out in the SWAC tournament because they wanted it more. It was more physical and it was more intense than us. And so, pretty much playing against the same team. They do a great job of making sure them guys play hard.
Crazy question. Have you referenced that over the last few days? Like, this is the team that ended our season last year, or is last year that's in your rearview mirror?
No, I mean, these guys don't, I got maybe 1 or 3 guys who was really part of the team last year. That doesn't, feel any type of motivation.
And then Monday night, Coach, the Alabama State Hornets come to town. They had a buzzer beater. And you look at that game, a tip in at the buzzer to win against UAPB. What do you see in the Hornets?
I haven't looked at them at all. I've been watching Alabama A&M, so I know that they, Coach Mallock does a great job of making sure they play hard, they crash the glass. I know his son is still over there. But I really have not watched much of them at all. But I do know that I think they're 2-0 right now. I think that they're playing some great basketball. I know they play some great basketball non-conference, and they're coming down here to get 2 big road victories.
It's easy to kind of put these things behind you. You got 17 games left. Coach, just give fans a sense. We've been talking about it for the last hour here, and of course, we'll be 30 minutes starting next Tuesday at 5:30. A lot of basketball in front of us. Tough loss against Jackson State. The rivalry, it's the start of conference play. One of the teams going to win a game. It was Jackson State this go round. You feel like your team is close to getting to that, because I think with this team, all we need is one win, and if we get that win, I think we can kind of take off from there. But we got to get the first one. And so you feel like we're just really close. I mean, we were down double digits. We had the lead, couldn't quite get over that hump. You feel like we're a lot closer now than we were a week ago to kind of turning that corner.
Yeah, I think every single day we're taking steps just to be better. We had every opportunity to close the game out Saturday, and I think Jack State just did a better job of it. So we got to move forward. We got to put that past us. And we got to find a way to come out this Saturday with some steam, with a faster start, and hopefully we play a complete 40 minutes.
2 keys to victory. Final question, Coach. 2 keys to victory against Alabama A&M. What are the 2 keys to get our first win?
I think it's going to start with us competing on the defensive side of the ball, and that's limited turnovers.
That's Braves head coach Landon Bussie, ladies and gentlemen. Coach, we appreciate it. We'll be talking to you Tuesday at 5:30 as we get through the Alabama teams, and we head to Texas on our first road trip. So it doesn't get any easier. Every game, you got to bring it, and the Braves will try to bring home a couple of wins by the time we talk to you again Tuesday at 5:30. Coach, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you this weekend.
All right, thank you.
That's Braves head coach Landon Bussie, ladies and gentlemen. Intense as always, trying to find a way to get a win. And we'll be on the air on Saturday, 2 o'clock with the women's game, the men's game to follow. And then Alabama State men's game at 6 o'clock. Don't forget Lady Braves basketball on Thursday at 2 o'clock instead of 6, trying to beat this weather. And it's going to be pretty cold and pretty tough weather-wise. So we'll be following all of that. That'll do it for the Landon Bussie program. For our producers, Mario Brooks, Cedric Tillman, Charles Edmond, glad you can join us. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Lady Braves at Alabama State at 2 o'clock. So long.